Good day to everyone. What's all the fuss about the planned sale of the campuses of Xavier University, Ateneo de Cagayan in Cagayan de Oro? The Jesuit-owned uh, Xavier or Ateneo is undertaking a project to build what it calls the campus of the future in Cagayan de Oro. The project is seen to change the landscape of downtown Cagayan de Oro, where its main campus has been standing for nearly a century. It stands as a living witness to history, World War II, and the transformation of the city from municipio from the municipio Cagayan de Misamis to the present-day city of Cagayan de Oro. Now, the project will affect other properties of the university, such as the campus in Uptown Cagayan de Oro, where a mixed-use township would be built. Now, the details, as one local historian puts it, are shrouded in mystery. Now, exactly how this would be done is unclear, but the former Cagayan de Oro Archbishop, Jesuit priest Antonio Ledesma, has questioned the economic viability of the entire project. And then he asked, and I quote him, why spend 3.3 billion to tear down the present buildings and put up new ones on a campus that is only 5 kilometers away from the present one? Now, joining us today to talk about why there are Cagayanons passionately opposing the project are Dr. Anselmo Mercado, uh, Dr. Mayet Rivera, and Miss Roan Bakal. Dr. Mercado is the president of the group called Concerned Parents, Teachers, Alumni, and Communities, or COPTAC, which is against the this project. And he once headed Xavier University's Southeast Asia Rural Social Leadership Institute, or CIRSULIN. And then Ms. Bakal is a former public servant and who is now the Vice President for External Affairs of COPTAC. Mayet Rivera is also personally attached to the university. She used to be a member of the faculty. She once headed the Development Communications Department of the university. Good day to you, and welcome to Rappler's Voices from the Regions. Uh, I'd like to point this out. No? Xavier University is owned by the Jesuits. It is a private school. So let me ask, siguro si Dr. Boy, as president of COPTA, why is it anyone's business what the Jesuits wish to do with their properties?
Well, I think that's everybody's perception that this is a private entity and it's a private deal between a business entity and Xavier University. But I think there is some concerns about this particular deal because this will affect not just the Xavier University but the whole community of Cagayan de Oro. Once a condominium, a complex will go up in the main campus, they will take about 6 hectares of it, and then another 14 hectares up in Manresa. That's 14 hectares of condominiums and commercial complex. That will affect not just a private entity, but the whole public of Cagayan de Oro. There are certainly environmental concerns. If a condominium complex will go up, there will be sanitation, there will be other things that will impact on the community. So that is why this has become really public. So it's anything a home can affect a neighborhood. That
Mm-mm.
is why there are regulations, there are laws in the city that should be followed by residents, including institutions, so that they will not harm the community, the public. So, what is the adverse impact of this deal if condominiums will rise up? And this is what we are in COPTA concerned about. We want the public, the government should know that there is really environmental impact, economic impact, and so forth and so on. And Xavier University, CLI, are not transparent about this whole thing. And even the city council now has approved an ordinance without following laws and regulations. So that's my first
When you
response to
say
your question.
when you said CLI, you're referring to Cebu Landmasters
That's
Incorporated.
right.
Okay.
That's right.
Uh,
Yes.
would you know kung anong usapan nila, Dr. Boy? What?
Well, it's a deal, planned deal.
Okay.
It goes back to, I think, the year 2017, when the former president of Xavier University made a deal with Landmasters to transfer the campus of Xavier University up to Manresa. And this was done without any consultation at all. I was in one of the presentations made, and the former president, a Jesuit, said something to the effect that they could not divulge anything yet on the deal because they were still making the deal. And then after that, we just heard they presented something that the deal was already signed.
Okay.
Yes. So that is a brief story about the
Okay.
the background of how this deal came about. And
Okay.
this was presented to people that the deal was already done, signed by CLI and Xavier University.
Mhm. Ang
And
ang deal ba is
it, that's what they say. It's a done deal. It's signed already. It was witnessed by the mayor.
ang deal ba nila, Dr. Boy, is partnership or binebenta ba yung
I really,
parts of the
I
campus?
really don't know, Irby, because they're not transparent about this. We're trying to get, the Xavier University administration to give us documents, but they won't. They won't share.
Mhm.
And in fact, when they said that this deal was already approved by Vatican, that is a misinformation, in fact, because we don't know. We are asking, even the good Archbishop of Cagayan de Oro was asking for documents. Where is this document that the Vatican has approved? They won't share it. So there is non-transparency here, lack of transparency
Mm.
on the part of the administration of Xavier University. Even until now, they are not sharing any document at all.
Okay. Let me go to Dr. Rivera. Dr. Mayet, no, I understand last month, August 16, you facilitated a focus uh, focus group discussion among stakeholders. Anong pulso nila?
Okay, I think I'm muted. Okay, good. Yeah, good you asked that,
Mm.
because that was exactly the intention of COPTAC, for us to have the pulse of the community. And so, on consultative workshop was held on August 16. It's called the COPTAC Consultative Workshop. It was held on August 16, so 2 months ago. And what happened was that we invited almost all of the 24 barangay officials, the punong barangays, and the barangay kagawas from barangays 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 39, 40, Barangay Carmen, and Balulang. These are the affected barangays or the ones covered by the project in Cagayan de Oro City. Some of them sent official representatives, very few barangay captains, but their proxies, the kagawads, were there. So, all in all, we had 20 barangay officials who were present in that consultative workshop. It was a consultative workshop because it was meant to introduce the participants the barangay officials what COPTAC is, what was the concern initially, and now the present concerns of COPTAC as raised to the Cebu Landmasters and Xavier University, and also what were the transactions as already published in Xavier University, and to solicit their views about it. What they think are the possible effects, implications, positive or negative, and what do they think about the XU CLI deal? Supposedly, we will put it in a quote. The activities in their respective barangays, and then we ask them for their recommended actions. Where do they think they can help, or what do they think they can do? No. So let me just give a summary lang very briefly of what
Okay.
happened during the consultation. Uh, we asked them what was clear in this, what they heard from the present ones. Dr. Boy presented, and some of our officials, and they said that it is still unclear what is the status of the XU main campus and Manresa aside from those published on the web. No, is there a commercial center that will be established? Imagine those questions are still being asked. There are questions on Manresa Farm and what will happen to the space in Manresa Farm aside from it being published as a campus of the future. They were presented with that DAO, with the map, but they didn't know that there will be other buildings that will be constructed there aside from the academic buildings. And what will replace the main campus? Is it a commercial business building, hospital, condominium? They don't know, no? So those issues, aside from their questions on the submission of requirements, they're asking whether requirements have been submitted and what good does it do to Cagayan de Oro. But most of it, they're questioning the lack of transparency and information, and they wanted katungod, no, naabay katungod ang katawhan nga masayod sa deal. That was in Bisaya. So in English, they're asking the right to information, which is just the right place to ask. So they're concerned when we ask them also, ano yung mga concerns nyo? Ano yung nakita nyo positive or negative? And most of them said they see traffic, garbage, the lack of clarity in how the drainage will be systematized or implemented. Walang consultation daw. Concerns on the environment, on pollution, on floodings, and traffic congestion in the area. Peace and order problem, because that will really shape the whole shape or change the shape of Manresa. And then their shares on the tax for the barangays. Of course, that's part of the LGU's problem or maybe concerns. And lastly, the landmark of Cagayan de Oro and heritage. They are concerned about losing the heritage that Xavier University had placed there on the main campus. It's in place as a heritage site and the landmark of it, including Manresa. So there are so many concerns like that, and I think these have been raised up, and these were presented to the mayor, the present mayor, in a letter, because he also asked for the consultation. He also asked for the how the barangays felt about it, and this has been elevated to him also.
I get the impression na yung kasi yung emphasis mo ngayon sa FGD, discussion ninyo is yung heritage. I think a lot of people were very concerned. Bakit? Siguro si Dr. Boy, ano tong heritage? Anong value nitong, why is Xavier University valuable to Cagayan de Oro, to Mindanao or the country?
Well, Xavier University actually started in 1933. It was, and then eventually when the school started to develop well, he gave it up and he said he offered it to the Jesuits. He donated actually the campus to the Society of Jesus, and this was accepted. And it was very clear on the donation, the letter of donation of Archbishop Hayes, that this particular school should really be used for educational purposes and all its social apostolate. It was very clear in that donation paper that they should follow that He entrusted it to the Jesuits for that, for an educational purpose. And then of course, the Xavier University developed over time. And during the war, it was the campus of Xavier University. And all these times, Xavier University was a primary educational institution, not only in Cagayan de Oro, but the Mindanao. And there were also places in the country. So, what is Xavier University de Cagayan de Oro? It's a priceless treasure, and that has developed with the city over time, and it's right in the heart of the city of Cagayan de Oro. It's a beautiful campus, and they have spent a lot of blood, tears, and money, sweat to develop this campus to what it is now. And Archbishop Ledesma was saying this should be the campus of the future. And if they want to expand it to the Manresa farm, they can do it, but on a gradual basis. But the campus of the future is right where it is. It has developed
How
with Cagayan de Oro over decades.
how will this project affect the main campus? Are they going to
Very
destroy
much.
anything?
Six of 8 hectares. 6 of 8 hectares will be practically destroyed and replaced by condominiums.
Mhm, mhm,
6 of 8 hectares. And the NHCP has declared 8 structures to be preserved. But what is 8 structures? That's only in about 2 hectares, maybe. So the 8 hectares, the other six will be practically taken over by a condominium complex.
mhm,
And at that time, Mayor Oka Moreno was saying that he signed as a witness to the deal because he
mhm,
saw traffic problems in Divisoria and Corrales
mhm,
Avenue.
mhm,
How much more if they put up condominiums over there? So that is why COPTAC is so much against this, because it's a priceless treasure of Cagayan de Oro. It has grown with the city, in fact. Why demolish it in favor
mhm,
of an economic complex, a business
mhm.
complex? It doesn't make sense. Not only to COPTAC, but a lot of people. But they're saying, done deal na kuno.
I think we're losing Dr. Boy again. Uh, let's go to Miss Bakal, no? Miss Bakal, you've been very passionate, no? Recently, ikaw ang na-elect ka, you were elected VP for External Affairs of COPTAC, no? Um, I just found out that your group sent City Hall a letter last month. Would you know about the contents of the letter? I think you're muted.
I just recently retired from public service. I come from a development planning agency, and I used to be the regional chairperson of the regional land use committee. And therefore, when I came in and I learned about the concerns about Xavier University, I was immediately taken aback
Mhm,
because people don't know this, but there are only two plans that are required by law for the
mhm,
local government units to prepare.
mhm,
One is the comprehensive development plan, which is the socio-economic plan for the city. This presents the sector plans, no, sa economics, social, infrastructure, etc. And the other one is the comprehensive land use plan, which is the plan that puts together the future the present and the future use of land and natural resources within a given area. So the city government is mandated to take care of making sure that plans for settlements, for institutions, for commercial spaces and infrastructure, and plans for the protection of critical natural resources and heritage areas are protected, no? So I was just concerned why the city government was not even taking a serious look about this major project that it is being planned right at the heart of the city. Xavier University is the first university in Mindanao. It is one of the it is a prestigious university, not just in Mindanao but also in the country and in Southeast Asia, and therefore it is a treasure of the city. It is something that should the city should hold valuable among its assets, no? So to have it being torn down and used for commercial and residential purposes does not make real sense to me, given the fact that this institution has a very colorful past. It has contributed to the growth of the city. There are people who are now in major and important places in society that are alumni of Xavier University. So, ang ako ba, we need to uh, uh, call the attention also of the local government unit to really take these projects very seriously. It's not just a property of the Jesuits, as you mentioned earlier. It is the property of the city of Cagayan de Oro. It's a If you take away Xavier University from the equation of Cagayan de Oro, it's like you've removed a major asset of the city. In the comprehensive land use plan, there is a zoning of the area, and the Xavier is classified as institutional. Once an area is zoned, and protected by a zoning ordinance. In this case, we have zoning ordinance 13032, which approved the zoning classification of the area. You cannot just immediately change this for some other use. It has to go through a major public hearing, consultation with experts to take a look at the very impact that this change would give to the society, to the community. I was so surprised that there was no public hearing of that sort that has ever happened. The proponents would claim that they did have public hearings, but if you try to look at the way they did it, it was more of an information dissemination activity that they undertook. That they said that this is going to happen, etc., etc. But Herbie, malaking impact talaga itong project na ito. In fact, the zoning ordinance requires any changes should be backed up by studies, traffic routing studies, an environmental clearance certificate, and also other studies in regards to real property taxes, because there are many things that can happen here. Let me tell you, once ma-transfer Xavier University to Uptown, you're talking of about 15,000 students that will be flying from downtown to Uptown, because most of the students come from where? Gusa, from the western portion and the eastern portion of the city, no? So how many jeeps now will be flying? In my initial calculations, there will be about 400 jeepneys of 16 passenger capacity that will be flying up and down the Carmen Hill. Can you imagine that? Or about 200 minibuses. And you can just imagine also the impact in terms of um, uh, the cutting of the trees and other natural resources that will happen uptown, no? Kasi if you try to look at to the in the area now, it's lush, it's green, and it is so because it used to be an agriculture campus where showcases of agricultural technology and methodologies are taught, no, to students. But now you're transferring most of the colleges upstream, so in the uptown. So you can just imagine the the congestion of that small road going uphill in Carmen Hill, and also probably the only alternate route would be that route going to the former basurahan, no? So malaking impact talaga for that, because many people, many students will be taking not only one trip, but probably two trips or three trips from their residence. So there are expenses sa mga estudyante that will happen. So
Miss,
did the
Miss
city think about this? What about the waste disposal and the liquid disposal? You're bringing in about not only the 15,000 students uptown, you're also going to develop residential condominiums also uptown, and commercial establishments. So malaking impact talaga ito. And
mm,
I thought na the city has not really evaluated this thoroughly for them to leverage against the proponent about what are their mitigating measures to minimize these impacts.
but can you use that as a reason, or at least give it a legal force to oppose the project? These are things that haven't happened yet, you know. Can you use that, or any of you? May sa opposition niyo ba, are you invoking any law? Kasi as I pointed out a while ago, private ito. If I own if I inherited a building that's more than 50 years old, by definition of law, protected siya, no? But if I sell that, I don't think you will oppose, okay? Because that's a family property. That's something I'm raising now, no?
No, but
Uh,
as I mentioned, Herbie, the
yes.
zoning ordinance is tantamount to the zoning ordinance that has
Na naputol siya. What about
Dr. Boy can answer, I think.
Dr. Boy, let me rephrase. What are your legal arguments against this project?
it's not, the selling is not is the selling is not so much what is being questioned here. It is the
Hmm.
use. it is the use of the property that is now
Mhm.
being questioned. And why is it that the city government has not, has not,
Acted.
Yeah. Yeah. Hello.
Dr. Boy. Yes, Dr. Boy, please.
Okay.
Dr. Boy. Okay.
About the legal implications here, we are not divulging it for now because we are waiting for a good opportunity time for us to be able to do our move legally. We are studying it very carefully. Our legal supporters let me say this in just for to answer your question. Do we have a legal action here that we can take? I think we are questioning the ordinance, the way they are circumventing. They're not following the law. We would like Skoptak would like to have a public hearing because that is what is missing in this whole thing. The impact of this particular project will be enormous to that city, to the residents, wherever these projects will be. And so there should be a real public hearing, according to Roan here. And that is what we want. If they are not going to do that, then they're violating their own laws. The zoning ordinance, they're supposed to respect that. And what is there? And we lose our public trust in these guys who is approving it without any public consultation. That is what we are questioning. We are not questioning the deal by itself. That is something else. Maybe we will study that some more because it's a
Mhm.
private deal. But we're questioning the
Mhm.
process by which
Mhm.
this ordinance has been approved without consultation, without public hearing. And that is what I think Roan is trying to drive at. We have a legal, we will have a legal case.
Uh,
And we are not just divulging it for the moment.
okay. Uh, you won't say it, pero I read your letter to City Hall to
it's a
Mayor
fact.
Uy. No? Uh,
Yes.
uh, Let me just quote. I think I was educated by this. Ano? I didn't
Yeah.
know this. Your lawyers invoke the National Cultural Heritage Act, okay, or
Right.
RA 166, no, 10066, and then
Yes.
they invoke Section 3 of that law, which is
Yes.
about cultural property. No? Uh,
Yes.
Here it says cultural property shall refer to all products of human creativity by which a people and a nation reveal their identity, including churches, mosques, and other places of religious worship, schools, and then your
Mm-hmm.
lawyers highlighted that word schools, and
Yeah.
natural
Yes.
history, specimens and sites, etc., whether
Right.
public or privately owned.
Yes.
I think you have
That.
something here. I'm not a lawyer, so
Yes.
I cannot really, based on a layman's understanding, it looks
Yeah.
like you have a legal your
Yes.
protest
Def,
legal
de-
stand.
definitely. I think our legal supporters here are very confident that we have a case. We will have a case, and we will
Mhm.
try that. We will
Do
try
you,
that.
Dr. Boy, do you foresee this going to court, or you don't wish that it will reach that point?
I hope it will not reach that point, but if we are very forced to do that, then we will have to do that because this is for the public good. This is not just for Koptak. This is for the public good. And
Mm-mm.
the whole city will have an impact, good or bad. Yeah, that is what we want to have a dialogue with Xavier University and the Jesuits or whoever is into this Lutong Macau deal. We
Uh-uh.
want a dialogue. We just want that. We don't want that Xavier University will be what they call is become traditional in many ways. It has to expand. It has to develop. We are for that. but there are options other than this particular deal, and they're not listening. And COPTAC wants this dialogue, this transparency to happen, but they're not giving it to us. So if we want to use, if we don't really get this dialogue or consultation with them, then the legal aspects we will pursue that.
Dr. Mayet, Dr. Rivera, no, ang grupo ninyo malaki ba or baka naman konti lang kayo tapos nag-iingay lang kayo, maingay lang kayo?
That
You're
that is
handling?
the that is the perception of even a lot of our journalists here. Of course, ang nakikita lang nila are the major players, no? The board, now the board, because we're registered already. And what they see throughout the 3 years of these, consultations and questionings, they only see that. But as far as we're concerned, we have already influenced a lot of people. COPTAC may be perceived as a small group, but it is composed of concerned
I think that's the
parents,
reason why they
alumni.
have not conducted
Yes.
public hearings.
Yes, because they thought we're
They
just a
are
small.
limiting the information to the general public.
When you
Because
say they,
many
you're
of the
referring,
of those that we have spoken to, once we open the topic,
Yes.
were really aghast. No, they were so vehemently against the
Shocked, to say. They were shocked during the consultation. So you can see there's an expansion. The only difficulty here is reaching a lot of all our other parents and alumni, because the general perception is that COPTAC is just against. These are anti-modernism, anti-everything, just to destroy the whole Xavier University. But hey, we're all Xavier University. We had a stake here. We were faculty, students, alumni, parents.
So that is
And
the reason why we would
yeah.
like public hearings. First of all, it is a requirement. No, the local government unit must abide by the very ordinance that they approved. The ordinance that approved the comprehensive land use plan and the zoning classification of properties within the city proper. And therefore, having not complied with them, that's already a very big question on our part, no? On the part of the transactions that are happening, and so we would like really that to really pursue. Why are we so strong about public hearing? Public hearings is precisely included in.
naputol siya.
Okay, nagpa-fluctuate.
Opo,
Doc
siya.
Boy, maybe you can.
Oo, Dr.
Yeah.
Boy.
So
maybe you
yeah.
can add.
So public hearing is really important, Herbie. In our crusade advocacy, public hearing is what we want, because we want the people really to voice out, express. A lot of them are just, indifferent in a sense, because they're saying, "Oh, lutong Macau deal na ni, wala na, done deal na, consummated na, as private money, private dili ni ato." No. That's a perception that has been going on, and many of them realize that there is something here that COPTAC is fighting for. There is something. Yes.
And to add to that, Herbie, may I just say that people have been clamoring for information, and we realized that because of the so many developments that had happened, we were not able to give all the information, and so they get shocked, especially last August 16. They got shocked that these were the deals and these were the things that have been happening. But now that they're getting information, there's an expansion of consciousness and awareness, and of course, transparency is needed for all of this, and that's why public consultations should be the order of the day.
Yeah, kanini Herbie, ang social acceptability ani importante ni, the social acceptability of this project. Yeah, and tomorrow, yes, at 1:30 there will be the first public hearing that we know we have been called upon.
Who called it?
And
Who called for the hearing, Doc? Dr. Boy?
EMB,
The Environmental Management Bureau.
Bureau. Yes.
Okay.
So this is the first time na merong public hearing, and they want the public to go there by Zoom and also virtual. So we will be
So ang
there.
concern nila is just
And
the environment. Hindi kasama yung
Yes.
historical.
yes, well, environment is very important here. So there will be people from the uptown, local residences there. They are organized also. They will be there. And the Balulang communities will be there.
Oo.
And
But
they will
since
express what,
Dr.
yeah,
Boy, but since it was called by the Environmental Management Bureau, I don't think
yes.
that's a place for those who are arguing na, oy, heritage ano to, site, oy, historical to. It has nothing to do with the environment eh. Yun, I think ang EMB is only
Um,
aware of
Maybe,
the
yeah.
the public hearing is actually part of the social acceptability component of ECC.
But do you think City Hall should call for a public hearing para lahat ng topics covered,
They should.
hindi
They
lang
should.
environment.
They should.
Yeah.
And that's what they're not doing, and they're violating because there was really no public hearing at all. That is what is wrong with, they pass they pass an ordinance and that's it. No, wala yung public hearing. Yun. They violated a lot of regulations.
Dr. Boy, you sat down with the Mayor Rolando Uy, no?
Just very
Mayor
briefly,
Francis.
yes, and yeah,
What did you say?
and
Anong response?
yeah, ang kanya, well, we wanted him to know as a new mayor about this whole thing. And he said, well, gusto ko nga dunay konsultasyon sa mga barangay.
Okay.
And so he said, go to the barangay level and have a consult. That is why on August 16, we had this consultation, as Mayet already
Who's
explained.
organizing that? City Hall or kayo na?
Kami ang COPTAC. Kaya ningon man si Mayor Uy, di man siya mag-organize.
Sanction ba ng City Hall yun?
Wala. Well, in a sense, Mayor Uy was saying, go to the barangay and have consultation. He was the one who suggested it.
Okay.
He was the one. So I said, mamati ko. Ingon siya, mamati ko.
Okay.
So that is the fact about it. Yes.
Okay. Now, without a doubt, Xavier-Ateneo de Cagayan is seen by many Cagayanons and its alumni from different areas in Mindanao and elsewhere as an important historical and cultural property, and that this project would impact present day Cagayan de Oro. For that reason alone, those behind the Jesuit institution may want to consider sitting down with the different stakeholders, tell them what they want to know about the project, and explore the possibility of meeting them halfway, at the very least, before things get out of hand and end up in what could turn out to be a long drawn out legal battle in court, that is. That would be unfortunate. On that note, we thank our guests, Dr. Boy, Dr. Rivera, Ms. Bacal, for sparing us some of their precious time to be with us. Dr. Mercado, Ms. Bacal,
Yes.
Dr. Rivera, thank you and more power.
Thank you,
Our
RB,
pleasure.
for inviting the COPTAC for having this interview. Salamat kayo.
Yes, salamat kaayo, Herbie. Our
Salamat.
pleasure to be here.
Yes.